Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is another wonderful Thursday night, and we are here for the TYCAST, the video game podcast. And we have a great panel tonight. We're a little more intimate, and so we're gonna have fun with it. We're gonna talk about personal things. No, we're not gonna talk about personal things. We're gonna talk about
Gaming is very personal.
it is very personal. So tonight, my guests, we have Aaron at Beach Pizza Gaming. How you doing, man?
Hello, doing great. Good to be here.
Awesome. Russ at Cryosneasel. Good to see you, man.
Yep. You too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Luke at Luke Leeson. How you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah. Max at Madado Max.
I am doing absolutely great. I have great news. Great news. So last week I told all of you no more Mario t-shirts.
Yeah.
I have found one more t-shirt right here. This is legit the final one. That's it. No more Mario t-shirts.
You have
have to wear.
You have redeemed my evening.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see.
This is gonna be a thing, isn't it? Every week it's gonna be no more Mario t-shirts, and then the next week.
This is legit. If I find one, that'd be awesome. Like I'll have to go out and buy one. This is legit.
I mean, you can recycle them. You don't have to throw them out after each episode.
Yeah, true.
We're gonna get straight into what everyone's playing. Max, I'm gonna start with you this week. What have you been playing this week?
So this week I played Pac-Man 99. That was very interesting. It really works well. Works very well. However, I do have some frustrations with this game. So with Pac-Man 99, when you get to I believe it is the last 30 players in Pac-Man 99, it gets chaotic. It always is chaotic in those 99 games. But what they do, they have these red Pac-Mans appear in the game, and there's multiple of them, and there's no way to stop these red Pac-Mans. Like you can't get one of the what is it the Pac-Man eats? The little white
power pellet.
Power pellet. You can't turn that. You can't eat one of those, and the thing goes away. You have to eat fruit, and fruit doesn't spawn very often. And this thing will follow you around. And obviously, with how you like knock people out in the game, so you eat the blinks, and then they start appearing in your game. That's pretty easy. You can handle it. But these red Pac-Mans make the game really, really annoying because the fruit, it's very rare, and there's no way to stop them without eating fruit.
Yeah, because they look. Sorry. They look the same as the little like ghost Pac-Man, right? Or like the little like gray Pac-Man, but they're red and they kill you.
It's actually a red Pac-Man. It's a red Pac-Man that will follow.
Oh, okay. It's not like the outlined ones?
No.
Oh, okay. I haven't played it, so.
Is it like another player chasing you around, or?
I don't know, but I know multiple can appear. So I don't know.
It's probably
that might be possible.
It's probably computer controlled, I'm guessing.
It is annoying. It I don't know how to get past it because the fruit doesn't come on very often. And then this is going to be a weird pick, but I played SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom.
My son's been asking for that game. He keeps pointing it out.
This is a great game. It is a very great game. I always recommend this game for people, mainly because of how cheap it can be. You can find it for $20 to $30. And for how long this game is and how great this game is, that's a really good price, especially if you try to 100% this game. You have a good, probably like 30 hours right here if you just try to 100% this game. And it's a great game if you're a fan of the collectathon games. I like to compare it to Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie. If you have those type of feelings, and I know people are going to point out, it's SpongeBob. It can't be great if it's SpongeBob. Trust me, this is a really good game. You can enjoy it even if you don't like SpongeBob. I love it.
I've heard good things about that game.
I'm sold.
Although I will say the Switch version is not the greatest version. It's at a lock 60 FPS, but it looks really bad.
So it is? Even on the Switch?
Yeah, lock 60.
Wow.
I think it's pretty cool.
Wow.
And then I played Dead by Daylight. So
are you still
I played
still
it with
in
Trent? He's in the chat. I played it with Trent. all week. I put in probably 10 hours this week of Dead by Daylight.
Nice. I haven't
We've
played that
actually
in a while.
secured some dubs. We secured some dubs this week.
Sweet. We need to get back. We need to get another server game going. It's been too long.
Agreed.
And I got my first killer win, like with actual professional players. I was like, yes.
That's
And
awesome,
that's it
Max. Luke, what are you playing?
I started Monster Hunter Rise. I played that with a couple of you guys.
Yeah.
It's pretty entertaining. I've never played a Monster Hunter game ever before, but I'm digging it so far. But then I did take a little break, and I'm playing an older game, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition,
Nice.
the last couple days. But
That's-
I'm hoping to get back into Monster Hunter Rise here and get some levels.
Yeah, I need to get back into. I didn't play except for the time that we all played together. I didn't play any more this week. But I could never get into Age of Empires 2 specifically. I was more Rise of Nations. Did you ever play that game? It was like
I did.
I don't know.
We're kind of opposite. I dropped off that game real quick.
Really?
And I just went back in Age of Empires.
That's funny. I know that obviously Age is much more popular overall, and it had like it was like what the old ensemble studios and stuff. That I think that's gone now. But yeah, how do you like? Is this the one that is this the remaster, or is there?
It's the recent remaster that like Microsoft has another company doing it for them.
Gotcha.
And they keep adding new campaigns to it, which is pretty surprising.
That's rad. What is there a remake coming out soon? Or no, Age of Empires 4 is coming out.
Yeah,
that's what's about to come out. That's awesome.
That's by Relic, I think.
Mm-hmm. That sounds right. Russ, what are you playing?
So aside from Monster Hunter, which I'm probably gonna play that game forever now. Aaron challenged me to play Resident Evil 4 before this episode. I feel like I've gotten really far already. I think I'm like 6-7 hours in. I got stuck last night once, but I'm really enjoying it. It took me a long time to get used to the controls. They're like really weird. I'm not used to tank controls. But so far I really like the story. I like Leon and I hate Ashley. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm hoping to beat it before Resident Evil 7, 8. I should. I don't see why I wouldn't.
When does RE8 come out? I know I've seen it everywhere lately.
May 7th.
May 7th. Okay, so it's right around the corner. Yeah, I watched some of your stream last night. It's a good looking game. Is that so on that you were playing on PC or Switch?
Switch.
Okay. That looked good for a Switch game. Is that it's just a remaster of, or is it the original graphics?
I want to say it's the original one, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah,
it's basically just like an HD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there isn't much added except for like higher resolution.
High resolution. Yeah. That's awesome. Aaron, what are you playing?
I have still been playing Monster Hunter, but not that much. I had very limited game time this week. So yeah, I played Monster Hunter a little bit. I got crushed playing by myself and trying to do some hub things. Again, I tried to do it by myself and I got crushed like a couple times. And it was like, a waste of like 20-25 minutes because you don't gain anything when you die. So yeah, so then I was like, maybe I'm not a monster hunter. Maybe I'm still a monster boy and I need to start there. So, no, completely unrelated though. There's like a new Monster Boy game coming out and I forget what it's called now. But Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom got like rave reviews a couple years ago. I bought it for the Switch. I started it, played like a half an hour and kind of dropped it. So I went back to that. It's another game that runs at a smooth 60 frames per second on the Switch. It looks really good. I completely forgot what I was doing in it, so I had to start it over. Now I'm half an hour into it again, so I'll probably have to start it over when I play it again in 2 years. Skyrim, I played that a little bit because I bought it during the sale, and again I can start that game and get lost in it for like an hour or two, like every time. Team Troopers, I've played more than I should have because it's like this polygon graphic style first-person shooter. Like if you imagine if like Call of Duty came out on the N64, that's kind of what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
But I posted a video gameplay of it on my channel, and a lot of people asked questions. So a lot of people were interested in it. So I played that a bunch to try to answer some questions, and it's rough. It's a rough game. I think it's a mobile game that was ported to the Switch, and there's a lot of stuff like that on the Switch. But yeah, and then you and I played some NES Online last night.
Yes.
Which was pretty fun.
That was a lot of fun. That was something I didn't even know existed until you mentioned, like, oh, we should play some NES Online. I completely under my radar, but that was fun.
Play.
Yeah, basically, so you can connect to whatever. You can connect two people and play online, but it's like there's one screen, the other person is controlling things. It's like you're player two, like on their screen, like you're sitting on the couch together playing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we started with NES, and I hosted that and controlled it, and we played golf because we're trying to get pumped up for Mario Golf on the
NES
Switch.
Open.
That was funny. That was pretty fun. It's very difficult. I highly recommend trying it though.
It's entertaining.
What else did we play?
We played River City Ransom.
That's right.
Which that was very entertaining too.
It was. I laughed a lot playing that. Like I love these old games. Like the visuals are not gonna I'm not gonna get sick of them because I grew up playing like those NES games, so I still love them. And it's just like some of the mechanics when you were trying to hop on that box.
Oh yeah, like, it kept bouncing me off, and then throwing like tires into the wall or running into the walls and just like, flying back. Like it was a very entertaining experience for an NES game.
It was.
It was like a little beat 'em up game. And then I hosted SNES and we did some Mario Kart. Did we do anything else on SNES, or is it just Mario Kart? Because I think we just did Mario Kart. Did the big circuit, and then I think I was looking around for other 2-player games because you have to go into the settings to figure out which ones are 2-player. But yeah, that whole functionality is pretty awesome. It is. It's really cool. Very underrated. And so that was it. That's what I played. That was my week. Sweet, yeah. Besides our NES and SNES online sessions, I've been very busy, and so my gaming has been very minimal. I did record a video last night. I'm gonna finish my B-roll tonight for the I lost it. My Pro 2 controller, my 8BitDo Pro 2 controller, and then when I am really busy, my like the games that I play to like not do like focus on anything are Rocket League and Fall Guys randomly. I just like I can just shut off and just like not even have to think about a story or anything. It's just like one of those, like it's like watching reality TV, but the gaming form of that, I feel like, and I enjoy that a lot. And so I put a few hours into both of those this week, and then we did that Monster Hunter session. I think, when was that? Was that last week or was that this week with you, Luke?
It's either Friday or Monday.
Yeah. So it was since the last episode. So yeah, let's move on to news. Dun, 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 dun. The biggest thing, it actually came out right after our last episode. I think the day after. Sony reverses course on PS3 and Vita store closures after listening to fans. They issued an apology and said that they miscalculated the demand and everything for PS3 and Vita devices, digital games, and so they're going to remain open indefinitely. I'm curious how much of this was them listening to the actual like fan like outcry, and how much of it was them seeing people flock to these stores and start buying stuff, worried that things are going to get shut down, and they're like, oh,
they probably made some money.
Yeah, like I saw a video. I think it was Metal Jesus Rocks. He was showing like NBA 2K17 is still $60 on the PS3 store. Like so, or some like all these games that should not be full price. They have no deals going on right now, and so they're probably just like raking in money for it. And so, I mean, oh yeah, I have to call out Toaster Dog played Rocket League with me for like 2 hours the other night. He's on our Discord, and
Nice.
and we did all right. It was rough. He's ranked a lot higher than me, and so everyone was in the air above me while I was still like driving around on the ground. But yeah, so I'm curious what their motivation is here. I mean, obviously it's money, but how much of it is genuine? Like, oh, we care about. I don't know. With all any business, I try to see if there's any ulterior motive. What do you guys think?
I think they need to stop being cowards and make Days Gone 2 now after
Yes.
doing this decision.
Yes.
You know,
We need
everyone's
next
asking for Days
180
Gone
we
2.
need.
we need a we. There's
the right direction.
speaking of which, there's the online petition has reached 70,000 signatures to.
Oh, I signed it.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't sign this.
So yeah, I saw an article that hit 70,000 signatures for to make Days Gone 2, which
Maybe they'll do Days Gone 2 on PS Vita, since the PS Vita store is back. This was all an elaborate plan to bring Days Gone 2 to the Vita to show the interest of the Vita.
I'd buy it.
yeah.
I'd buy it. Yeah.
So does anyone still have their PS3 or PS Vita? Like, when's the last time anyone bought a game from either of these stores?
I bought a Vita game on the store back in September because I wanted to get Persona 4 Golden. That's what I did buy. I only bought it digitally because the physical copy of that game is $80, and digitally it was a $20 game, and it really hurt me to buy a game digitally like that. But I did
which
buy
game? Which
Persona
game?
4 Golden.
Oh, really? That's that much now?
Yes.
Wow.
It probably skyrocketed with the PS
Yeah.
Vita news, but maybe it went back down. Which, by the way, I just want to point out, I went to my local retro game store. I saw so many people go in. Like, this was before the news came out about PS Vita store still staying up. I kept seeing people, like, they walked up to the counter with a whole stack of PS Vita games, and people were buying out their PS Vita games,
I'm not surprised.
which is crazy.
They've had a pretty big shortage of PS Vita games for a long time around here in the Northeast. Like, you can't even find them with cases now. They're just like in a, like in a little case, whatever, with the like with the 3DS games and stuff like that. So it's
like loose
they've been
cartridges.
bought a long time up here. Yeah, I bought. I downloaded. Is it Shakedown Hawaii? So I downloaded that in January of this year, and it was free because it was like a PS Plus game, and for some reason it was still free on the PS3, and that just released on the PS3 last year. So like it was like August of 2020, which is, I thought they were done with PS3 games for a long time, but so I downloaded that, which was free, but I also bought some Fallout 3 DLC. But I looked through the store a good amount, and there's still games on there that I want to play, so, like eventually, So I'm kind of glad that they kept it open. I think it had to do with all the negative news they'd had lately.
Yeah.
Like focusing on these big games, not getting rid of Days Gone 2 or shutting that down. Not having any answer for the backwards compatibility magic that Microsoft is doing, and then. So all those things together, and then you say you're going to shut down your store, which is the only way you can play a lot of these games. And I think people started looking at that going, okay, if you're going to treat your games like that and, these legacy titles like that, maybe it is time to look at different options and look at getting an Xbox instead of a PS5. And I think that had an effect on it.
Yeah.
Or an emulator.
Yeah.
What's that?
Or an emulator.
Yeah.
One thing to note is that the article, like on the PlayStation blog, the article saying that like this was written by Jim Ryan, like he has the byline, which I think it says a lot. I think that lends to your suspicion that this is to curb some backlash and PR move, especially because of all the comments that he's made about like older legacy games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That I think is a very good point to bring up.
I'm hoping like there's a part of them though that this was also for digital conservation.
And yeah, and one thing I'm excited because I like a year ago started collecting for PS3. Just whenever I see, I'll start picking up games, and as soon as this happened, I was like, if it was too fast, I didn't like that. Now all physical games are going to go up, and I feel like right now it was the sweet spot for that generation of games where before prices started to rise. There's still some that are obviously really expensive, but not like older games and stuff. So I feel like it was kind of in that little valley of cost right now, and so hopefully that this will stymie those that price increase. So
Right.
So, do you guys think that the Vita? I know the Vita games really went up. The news when it was closing. Do you think they're going to go back down since the store's going to stay open?
probably not.
Okay.
Just because it seems like those are already so limited. With how like it seems like all the production was limited, and so they were pretty pricey to begin with, like even before the announcement. So I don't think that we're going to see a massive change, especially downward. I think the damage has been done for those.
Yeah, right when I bought my second Switch, so like summer 2018, I was like, I'd kind of gone on like a little Vita kick, and I started buying some physical games, and they were like already getting up there then. And I think like even, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I looked at like, the God of War collection, and that with a case and everything on eBay was like 60 something dollars. So they've been going up for a while, and I think that's going to continue no matter what happens with the store.
I think it's smart. Also, Aaron, I know you're Switch collecting. I know we have a lot of people on in my Discord that are Switch collectors. Russ, you have a bunch of Switch games. Who else is a Switch collector? Everyone except for me, probably. I think I'm the only one that is like mostly digital. I think it's smart because I feel like cartridges are also a smart format to collect on, especially like this will likely be the last cartridge generation. So I think you guys are making it made me want to start buying physical, and I'm like, this is a rabbit hole I'm not ready for. And so all right, moving on. The next story is reportedly Discord ended talks with Microsoft, and they are no longer up for sale. What it says is that Microsoft was looking to offer like $10 billion to buy Discord, and Discord ended up walking away from that deal and wants to possibly go public, has now some other stuff in mind. And so if they go public, I feel like that would be worse than them being bought by Microsoft, in terms of end user experience type of stuff. But it probably gives at least another 3 to 4 years of, I don't know. I don't think that they're going to end up going public, but you never know.
I think
I kinda think-
Microsoft needs to settle down anyway.
Settle down, Microsoft.
Sorry, what was Russ going to say?
I kind of think it was a good thing that they didn't buy it. I use Microsoft Teams for work, and that is like the most awful app I've ever used in my life. I would worry that they would ruin Discord if they bought it.
Yeah, I think that was a lot of concern from people. Like, I think Discord probably saw that, and maybe they were like, with that, all this like concern that Microsoft's going to ruin Discord, that they could get more money because obviously they increase their value versus the purchase or something. I don't know. There's a lot of different things. We obviously have a Discord server. That's how we're using it right now. And I don't know. I don't know that this matters all that much either way. I think any different. Any changes would be pretty minimal. It seems like, especially with like Microsoft buying LinkedIn and Microsoft buying Skype and everything, it seems like those services didn't really. They kind of remained independent for the most part, and GitHub, stuff like that. So I don't know that it would have mattered much anyway. So, anyone have any other thoughts before we move on from that? I know we don't do a lot.
I'm glad they didn't purchase. I think it would have ruined it. That's my. I mean, how is Skype? I never use Skype for anything. I use Zoom. Who owns Zoom?
Zoom. Are they public?
I don't know.
Maybe.
And what about Skype? So how many people use Skype now? Is Skype still popular?
I don't know.
I sometimes use it for meetings, but it's kind of slow.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm looking this up.
I don't know. I just, my opinion is that Microsoft would probably do something to ruin it. So I'm glad that they didn't buy it. I think it's been pretty fun. Like I've only used it over the past 6 months, or 7 months or whatever since we've been talking, and we talk about a lot of good stuff and a lot of games, and it's very creative, like all the like emojis that you can use, and like just the way it's set up, everything's just really smooth on it.
Yeah,
I think they'd kill it within a year.
Yeah, I agree. I think this was the smarter decision. Obviously, that's a lot of money they were offered. Discord has a lot of things in the works right now that I don't know if, let's just say, Microsoft bought them, they would have allowed that, because Discord has some huge things coming. And I just think they would be held back being behind Microsoft. And I would have been interested to see how Microsoft's going to handle Discord and Skype together and all of that. It didn't seem smart to me for Microsoft to go ahead and buy Discord when they have all these other platforms out there. So I think in the end, it was good on both of them to not be a part of each other, because I think this helps Microsoft, this helps Discord. That's how I see it.
We have a comment from the chat. Toaster Dog, my teammate on Rocket League, says Skype is like the Netscape navigator of video chat. Well, I don't think is entirely inaccurate.
Netscape, I remember those days.
Yeah, I was a massive Netscape fan. All right, moving on. This is an article exclusively for us. New leadership over at Overwatch. Jeff Kaplan, who has been with Blizzard for I think 19 years, is leaving Blizzard, and he's kind of been the face of Overwatch forever. And I'm trying to remember who is Aaron. Aaron Keller who is a Blizzard veteran, is taking over the development of Overwatch 2, or whatever the job title is. Russ, I know you had some thoughts in the Discord. What do you think about this?
I was really surprised when I saw this. I kind of want to know why Jeff left. I assume that he was really liking the role. All the videos he would do, he would always really enjoy talking about Overwatch. It's going to be interesting to see if they still do those. I don't even know what they're called. They're like Overwatch Directs, where Jeff would talk to you about what was coming up with upcoming patches. I wonder if they're going to still do that with Aaron. I've never even heard of Aaron. I've never heard his name before this, so I'm hoping that he can live up to Jeff. I really like Jeff. I thought he did a good job with everything.
It seems like he was massively liked in the community, and I just saw right before we went live that he put out another statement saying like telling to the community, saying that everything's fine, like be nice to the Overwatch team, like they're all great people and they have they're everything's good basically. And so I've played Overwatch twice. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying 19 years is a long time, so
yeah, maybe he's just ready. And I mean, there were little murmurs that there was some development issues with Overwatch 2, and it kind of was in purgatory for a while, and maybe there's more than we know about what's going on behind the scenes, and maybe that was just like, I don't know. There's so many moving parts with this type of stuff that it could be anything. It could be completely unrelated to the game. It could be personal. It could be just, you know, I don't know. I don't want to overanalyze it too much, but I liked what I played. I just haven't played a whole lot of Overwatch. I got into it.
I'm really excited for Overwatch 2, and I hope that it actually comes out still.
It seems like it's not. They all but confirmed it's not coming out this year, right? It's like in 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bummer. All right, moving on. So there was it just leaked that this PS Plus Video Pass, it leaked in Poland, and it's essentially some type of video, like movie, TV type of package that becomes included with PlayStation Plus. Excuse me. And a few things, because it seems like some of this gets kind of mixed up in the headlines, but PlayStation actually acknowledged it and said that it was just a test specifically in Poland that they're going to monitor for a wider launch. The one thing is that Sony, like obviously as a conglomerate, has, you know, their film and television divisions, which most of those rights, especially in the US, they sell off. And so they can't do stuff like that, like a video pass, unless they renegotiate all these deals. And they just announced deals with Netflix and deals with Disney Plus for their films and I think some TV content in the US. And so the likelihood of this happening in the US, I feel like, is very low. But it seems like they're trying to make some moves to add value to PlayStation Plus in ways that they can leverage their other businesses and, you know, sister companies and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't. It's weird coming on the heels of them shutting down the store for film and TV, especially, because like it's not really being utilized. But here's some free, like we'd like to add value type of thing. I don't know. It just seems kind of.
I find it very, very interesting because Sony kind of, not exactly like this. They kind of did this a couple years ago with the show called Powers. It was exclusive to PlayStation Plus. And they had this idea that if you had PlayStation Plus, you're going to get a lot of exclusive movies and shows. They did that with Powers, and then they gave up quick. It only lasted 2 seasons, and then they never did any more PlayStation exclusive Plus videos. And that whole program slowly went away. And I wonder if this is them sort of bringing it back, but in a completely different way, because they have their own movies that they can put out. And I don't know. I'm interested to see if they're doing something similar to what they did before, because they're definitely moving in a movie and TV direction with a lot of the stuff happening over there.
Yeah, it seemed like with the Powers show, they were like creating their own content just for PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
So just for So I don't know. I don't think they'll do that again. But they might add, you know, some videos, like, you know, either a series or like a couple of movies a month to your PS Plus membership for added value. They could do something like that. I can't see it being much bigger than that.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
It's like even this article, it talks about how they're no longer selling their movies on the PlayStation Store, but like, and then we lost our. It's gonna happen again.
How recording?
No, we're not doing that again. We're going raw. That sounded bad. But yeah, they're talking about like movies like Venom and Zombieland and stuff like that. They've already sold all the rights to distribute those in the U.S. So that's not going to be a thing here. All right, moving on. So this was just announced today. Fujifilm and Nintendo have announced it's a portable printer for your Nintendo Switch is what the headline is, but it's really a printer that currently exists that you can now buy with a Pikachu sleeve and an accompanying app that will work with current Fuji Mini, the Instax Mini printers to print out screenshots from your Switch. It seems like the app does a little bit more where you can customize your screenshots from your Switch, and it looks like you can use the app to actually pull the screenshots from your Switch, similar to how it works now, but it's all in app. The app launches April 30th, and then you can get the printer with the Pokemon with the Pikachu thing for $120. The printer's $100. Aaron, you just bought the printer by itself. You said
I did. I saw it on I googled the name of it and I saw they had like a white one at Target, so I bought it. I said, you know what? Before these like get rare or before like people run out and buy them all, I'm just gonna buy it now, and that way I have it good to go, ready to print pokey pictures.
Now, are you gonna buy another one with the Pikachu cover on it?
That's a good question. So, with my Target Red card, this is non-paid advertising, by the way. I get 5% off, and I get an extended return time. So who knows? I might return that one if the other one is available and it's different enough to So, but I think it's gonna be cool. I'm excited for it.
I made the joke earlier than the pre-show, but we had Xbox doing the frame rate and improvements with EA titles. We have PlayStation responding to that with PlayStation Video, whatever it was called, I forgot. And now we have Nintendo be like, you can now print your photos. I just find that funny. I know this is not them responding to all that, but I'm making the joke that it is them responding to everything happening.
All the correlation. Yeah, I love that the fact that they are releasing a printer right before Pokemon Snap comes out, and now that just brings back all the memories of taking your memory card, your N64 memory card, and printing out your Pokemon Snap photos at Blockbuster from one of those kiosks. It's like, this is the perfect thing for Pokemon Snap, I feel like. And I'm probably gonna get Pokemon Snap day one, and if it works somewhat like that, I will print out all my photos and put them all over this wall. Little Instax Pokemon photos. I will do it, and then I will show everyone. Russ, I know you're pumped for Pokemon Snap. Are you gonna get a one of these Instax printers?
I feel like I have to. I mean, I've always wanted the Blockbuster one.
Yeah.
And if I could still find that, I would buy it if it's not so expensive, but I'm sure it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this will just have to fill that void of not having that Blockbuster printer.
Yeah. It is a functioning alternative, because you can't even, I don't think you can find the printer paper for that anymore, or it's like insanely expensive. They're obviously not making it anymore. So I think it's just like,
yeah,
even the cost to actually print stuff on it is so insane. Just like remember the Game Boy printer? I think the paper for that is crazy expensive right now too.
You know, the cool thing about that printer too, this little mini printer, I keep forgetting the name of it.
Instax Mini, is that what it is?
Instamax, something like that.
Instax is like the little cameras. I think it's part of that line.
So you're going to be able to print like any screenshots from your Switch. So it won't just be like the Pokemon Snap screenshots. You can, print anything that you can take a screenshot on. So I think that'll be kind of cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Yeah. So it's called the Instax Mini Link, and which it was actually released in 2019. And so this is basically a new mobile app and Switch compatibility within that app to link up, which I assume is just gonna do the QR codes like the current thing, which actually works way better than I thought it would. When I heard that they were doing that, I was like, "What is this weird workaround?" But it actually works way better than anything else. I feel like right now.
Yeah, both pictures and videos, they work really well for that.
We'll jump into this real quick. Microsoft removes. This happened today. I got the email today. They removed the Xbox Live Gold requirement for free to play games, and also party chat is now free for everyone to use in those games. So Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, Apex Legends, you can now play on Xbox without a Xbox Live Gold subscription. I have some thoughts on it. Deander brought up Breath of the Wild screenshot prints. That's
what's going to be all over my wall.
That's a solid,
absolutely,
a solid one. So it's more than 50 games now free to play. I mean, Xbox was the only service that did not allow this before, so they're just kind of like doing what everyone else is doing. So it's not anything massive. I have some thoughts too, but I'll let you guys jump in if anyone has anything that they care to say about this.
I thought they were already doing it.
Yeah,
that's what I have to say about it. I thought that happened like a long time ago, because it used to be that you had to pay for Xbox Live to even have Netflix, to even watch Netflix on your Xbox 360 and maybe Xbox One. And then they got rid of that paywall, and I thought that this ended like 2 years ago. So cool, congrats, good for them.
Yeah, it's a good move. Anyone else before I jump back in here? So I think that this is a precursor to them trying to kill off Xbox Live. I think they're trying to get rid of the whole gold tier. I think they want to go, you can use the Xbox free to play games, and then you need Game Pass for. I think they're trying to merge Xbox Live and Game Pass into one thing, instead of having Xbox Live Gold and then then Game Pass and then Game Pass Ultimate. Like the whole nomenclature is weird to begin with, but maybe they'll restructure it to like 2 tiers or something, but and maybe we'll do like 10 and 15. I don't know what they're doing, but I feel like they're in a weird spot. Haven't been putting out any like really good games on Xbox Live Gold. I feel like they're trying to it's like the make things as bad as possible so that people don't miss it anymore type of thing. But yeah, so I don't know.
The weird part about that though is remember like a couple months ago they were like, prices are going up for everything.
Yeah.
So it's weird. Why would they try to do that price increase if they were going to be getting rid of it?
Well, that was when the rumors for that kind of started, because I forgot what it was, but it was going to basically make that pointless to have Xbox Live Gold by itself, and so people are like, oh, they're trying to get rid of this, and by making it the same price as I forgot what it was, but it was like going to be the same price as Ultimate or something. And so that's why I remember reading rumors about that around that time. And so this, I mean, it could. All right, last on the news for this evening. So Nintendo took down the Labo website, and they finally responded to why they did that, and they just said that you can buy Nintendo Labo in stores, which is kind of a weird response. And so now the labo.nintendo.com just redirects to the VR kit product page, which it seems like all the writings on the walls that this is being discontinued altogether. They're not coming out with any more Labos, or they're just gonna let it put it out to pasture. And then in this Nintendo Life article, there's this Emily Rogers, who looks to be a Nintendo insider that has information, says that there's going to be one tiny little announcement before Labo rides off into the sunset, which people are saying maybe Pokemon Snap, something some little like thing to something legacy. I don't know. Does anyone have any Labo kits?
I do.
Yeah.
I have the base, like the one that has like the 5 things.
Like the variety kit.
Yep. I only ever built the piano, and that took like 4 hours to build, and I never built anything else.
Yeah,
I
it
make
looked
a
like
lot
a lot
of
of work.
VR jotokes, but I never bought the Labo VR. I'm a fraud. I'm sorry, guys. I am still going to be making Labo VR jokes in my life, though.
Yeah. We booted up Super Mario Odyssey, and now my son can read, and he goes, "You can play this in VR?" And I was like, I mean, it's like the meme, like, yeah, kind of. But I have the robot kit, and I have not built it. It's still in box, and now I'm like, at this point, do I just keep it in the box? Like,
Yeah,
I feel
just
like
hang on to that at this point.
it's
Don't
still
even open it.
sealed and everything. It's been in my set since my first video. But yeah, I mean, it seems like that's. I don't know if anyone's surprised. They haven't done anything with Labo in a while. It seems like the writing was on the walls. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I do wonder if they're going to do something for Pokemon Snap, because I could totally see them making like a camera for it.
Yeah.
Like a cardboard camera. I'm sure the game's going to have like gyroscope controls.
Oh yeah,
that would be really cool.
that's
actually. Yeah.
I wonder if it's going to be like something. Maybe they'll. I don't know. It's hard for me to see them putting out something like commercially, like in stores or something, if they're gonna just kill it right after, like for that. But maybe there's something they can do, using something existing that they'll add on, or maybe some additional additional games like Snap or something. That would be a good idea to do some type of camera or something. We are.
They wanted to recycle cardboard. They just decided, you know what, Labo is not worth it. Let's go back to recycling the cardboard.
Well, I remember when it launched, you like on the Japanese site, there was ways to like buy more cardboard parts, or they didn't. I don't even think they actually launched the store. They said that like they had like part numbers for it, but I don't think it ever launched. And I was like, that's not a good sign if they're not having. There's no like backup support for these products.
Couldn't you print out things and then couldn't you print something out and then trace it and cut your own cardboard to repair pieces?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds familiar. But I don't even think they did any of that for the US. I think it was all on the Japanese site, if anything. Okay, we're done with the news. We have a few hot takes that we're going to jump into. I dropped these in because we like to talk about, our opinions on things sometimes. So I dropped this in because I know we talk a lot about indie games and the whole indie game resurgence and everything. And so I want to know what you feel are underrated indie games, indie titles, any generation, any system, console, whatever you think. We'll go around the horn if you guys don't mind. Aaron, I'm going to start off with you.
So I don't know if this is underrated because it did get good reviews, and every time I mention it, people say they love it. So but I feel like not enough people have played Guacamelee, and that was a really, really, really good game. I played it on the Vita I almost just said I played it in the Vita in the handheld mode. So that's how much. So I played it in the Vita on the Vita, and that was such a good game. Like, it was like perfect, like progression with learning like the moves and everything. So like you start off and you're like, all right, this is a little bit tricky, but by the end of the game, you're like doing these combos and moves that you never even thought you'd be able to move your hands that way. And it's, it's not like, it's a typical, bad guy comes, steals woman, you got to go save her story. But it's it was really good. And you get to a part where it's like you can switch the world between like the positive and the negative, and it changes not only like the visuals, but it changes the music, and it like does it on the fly, like it's like switching over tracks. So like if you're like a big audio person and into music, and you follow kind of audio production, it's like kind of amazing how they did it. You press a button, the screen changes, the music changes to a darker, you know, without missing a beat, changes to a darker version of that song, and you can switch back and forth like on the fly. It's really good game. I highly recommend it.
That's awesome. Russ, what about you?
Before I go into mine, I want to say that was a really good choice. And if I would have thought of it, I would have picked that one. I love that game.
Yeah, so good.
So my pick isn't. It's a weird one. It's not on a console. It's not on PC. Technically, it's a Newgrounds game, but it just got a Kickstarter that launched. I want to say yesterday, or the day before, and I want to say it funded almost immediately. The game's called Friday Night Funkin', and it's a rhythm game. It plays like DDR, but you use the arrow keys on your keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
And the story is you play as a boy that wants to go out with the hot girl, but her parents hate you, and her parents happen to be demons. So you're trying to like take them on, and then you take on a whole bunch of other people. You can play like a demo of like 5 or 6 chapters or weeks, I think they're called in the game, on Newgrounds for free. But I'm really excited that it's gonna be a full release.
That's awesome. I actually saw a
Sounds cool.
YouTube video on that randomly. I was like, I've heard of that, but I don't know anything about it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Luke, what about you? Oh, you're muted.
Unmuted, hopefully.
Yeah.
There we go. So I thought about this for a little bit before we started, and I think I'm gonna go with Shadowrun Returns, which was a top-down RPG from 2013. I don't know that a lot of people played that, but it was definitely very highly regarded. And I tend to like drop off of those kind of RPGs pretty quickly, but like the story is very good for that kind of game. It's like a mystery thriller, and it's actually pretty short too, so it doesn't really waste your time, because a lot of those RPGs can get pretty long
Yeah.
when you're like reading through a lot of dialogue and stuff too. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. It's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, but you like in the future. That's
Nice.
the setting of it.
That's awesome.
It's interesting.
What console did you play it on again?
It's on PC, but it might have been like put on other consoles too. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I'd have to check that. But it released in 2013 through a Kickstarter,
Oh, okay.
and then they did release sequels after that too.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds good. I'll note that. I like top-down shooters and stuff like that. Max, what about you?
All right. So a lot of people is going to say, he's going to pick a Nintendo game since he's the Nintendo Switch guy. Well, you would be wrong. I have a PlayStation title, right? Everyone's probably shocked that I have a PlayStation at that point. All right. This is kind of an underrated game. A lot of people talk about it, but a lot of people didn't buy it. So it's talked about, but wasn't popular enough with all that in mind. But it's Trover Saves the Universe. If you're a Rick and Morty fan, you'll know that Justin Roiland created this game. It's another, or he created the game, but he created these characters. He created the storyline. Everything he created. I think, I might be wrong about this, but I think he actually voices every single character in this game also, which is pretty cool. But this is like one of the funniest games I have ever played. I can't even tell a single joke on here because it's really bad. It's very inappropriate. It's going to age restrict everything. So, but this game has so much dialogue. Like, I just stood there, and it's actually a VR game if you want to play VR. I don't know if it shows.
Yeah.
You can play it without VR. It's actually just recently came out on Switch a few months ago. And I think it came out on Xbox. Might be wrong about that. But the dialogue is amazing because there's one scene in the game where there's these two guards and they keep roasting each other, and then all of a sudden they like fall in love with each other, and you sit there and you see them talk for 10 minutes. Like, you could either go on with the game, but it's literally they talk for 10 minutes and say the stupidest things ever. And it's just so much happens in this game that you don't expect, and it's fun. It's funny, and it's a very interesting game.
We have chat saying that there's a Switch physical coming, but it's still in production likely. It sounds like it sounds like an awesome game. Before I go, Meander threw a vote out for Lightfall, which is a game he bought without knowing anything about, and it was only a few dollars. So he gets a shout out for that. So I took this a little bit differently. I have a bunch, but for indie games specifically, I get drawn to indie games for their music. I just have this affinity for really good indie game music, and I feel like some of the best game music right now is being put out through indie titles. And so three that I put down on my list were Katana Zero, which is just an awesome game anyway, but it has a really cool like kind of synthwave like industrial soundtrack. Crypt of the Necrodancer, which has a fun dancey soundtrack, and then I guess they're all kind of fun dancey soundtracks now that I think about it, except for Katana Zero. But Sayonara Wild Hearts has awesome music. I actually started listening to the soundtrack of that before I ever played the game, and then ended up buying the game, and it's a very entertaining game, kind of rhythm action game. I like all of those. I know those are not hidden gems by any means, but not enough people play them. On different notes, What Remains of Edith Finch, if you've never played that, it's a short adventure kind of walking sim game, which is very good. It has a good story. It's an easy playthrough, and you kind of get sucked into it. It's cool to play like if you have a couple people, like just like it's kind of like feels like more like a movie type of experience than anything else.
I've wanted to play that for a long time. It's definitely need to move that up on my list.
It's very entertaining, and it's
it's like a good story, right?
Yeah, it's a really good story, and there's like some twists, and the whole thing is a big mystery of like why you just are walking back to this house and it kind of unfolds of what happened to this whole family and you were a part of, and but it's quick and it's not too heavy, and I mean it's kind of heavy but not too bad, but it's a very entertaining light play game. And then an old one is Alien Hominid, specifically so I like the main game, but specifically the multiplayer little like stick figure run through part of that game. I spent hours and hours and hours playing that, where you have to like it's been a while since I played it, but you have to get to the goal, and it's like this little fixed camera stick figure running to get to the goal, and there's like little traps and stuff. It's a very simple game, but for some reason I just always got massively addicted to playing that, especially if you have like 4 people. It's a great party game. And
so that reminded me of the Xbox 360 when you were just talking about that game. Reminded me of the ultimate indie game, which is Burger King's Pocket Bike Racer.
yes. I had all the Burger King games physically, and I have no idea where they went.
Oh, those are classics. Big Bumping, a good one.
Xbox 360 had a lot of classic indie games. I think we talked about it last week, that Indie Game the movie. Did anyone watch that between last week and this week?
I didn't check it out yet.
It's very good.
I want to, though.
It's very good. Fez and Super Meat Boy, and there are a couple other games. Those are the 2 main ones. It goes into the development of that. Watch it if you get a chance. I think it might be on Netflix still. It might not be. One more topic. What game mechanic do you miss from video games that you don't see anymore that you used to see quite often? We're going to go backwards this time. Max, did you did you have anything for this?
Yes. I asked you guys this earlier. Now I completely forgot. But I will explain while I try to remember what you guys told me about this. So,
Oh yeah.
open world used to be very special. I would say when open world games started to become a thing, I think all of us really enjoyed that idea. It's like, yes, open world, so much things to do. Every freaking game that comes out, I feel like open world is a part of it. And there's sometimes that games will force open world, even though it just doesn't work. And one of the games, just want to point this out, Naughty Dog is one of the companies that makes sure they don't put open world, because they talk about how video game companies force their games to have open world mechanics and it never works out for them. But I want games to go back to being not open world.
Linear.
Yes, I knew that all along. Linear. I want to see those games come back. We've seen it with Naughty Dog, and they make great games. Last of Us 2 is a debatable game, but I want linear games to come back.
Nice. Luke.
I agree. Or like a
Or
hybrid.
yeah. Anyone agree or disagree? Anyone love open world games?
And let me say, I love them. I just feel like every game has it now. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not every game has to be an open world game, and that's kind of the direction that it's going. I think is.
You know what I don't like actually, okay, I'm going a little too hard on that. I really liked Burnout 3 Takedown, and then they went to Burnout for Revenge, which was okay, and everything. They went to Burnout Paradise, which went open world, kind of open world, and that's when I fell off of that series. And I would kill to get back to, like, I know there's racing games that aren't open world, but a Burnout, like Dangerous Driving, I played that this week too. I'd love to. I like those types of racing games where you can like select, like, very arcade style. Like, especially if it's an arcade style game, it shouldn't be an open world. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. Anyone else before Luke goes? Luke.
For the game mechanic thing, I don't think this is something that was like common, but the limb targeting from the first Dead Space game, did any of you play that?
No.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
the main mechanic for killing the enemies was like literally targeting specific limbs to take them out.
Oh, okay.
And I think Metal Gear Solid 2 did something similar, but I've never played that game. But I haven't seen that kind of thing in games these days. I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I did play the original Dead Space, and you could like shoot their arms off, you could shoot their legs off, and they'd fall on the ground, right? You could then yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's
That's
awesome.
all I got.
That reminds me of do you remember the original Soldier of Fortune? I think it was on PC and like Dreamcast. Like it was
violent.
very, very violent. It was a little bit different tone, but yeah, I remember being blown away that you could, like, it wasn't the same animation every time you like, that was kind of first in that type of world. Russ, what about you?
Mine was like rewarding unlockables. So my first thought was like God of War. When you beat the game on whatever difficulty, you unlock like a cow suit that gives you unlimited magic meter when you play again.
Oh, okay.
Or Sonic Adventure 2, if you get all the emblems, you unlock Green Hill Zone as an HD stage, like a 3D stage.
I remember that. Yeah.
And
Wait a minute, what? Do I have to look that up?
I remember there was a lot of cool unlockable stuff in Sonic Adventure. I forgot. I played the hell out of that game, both 1 and 2.
Yeah, 2 is like one of my favorite games ever. A lot of people don't like it, but I don't really care.
I was looking up. I think I saw. I was because I just bought a new, or not a new, but I bought a Dreamcast, and I was looking up costs of physical games, and like Sonic Adventure 2 was going for like over $100 physical. I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I wish I still had all my Dreamcast games, although I didn't have that many because it was so easy to rip them.
Mm-hmm.
in all honesty, full disclosure.
You pirate.
Yeah, I was in high school. I was like, whatever.
Is that a lost game mechanic? Pirating games?
Pirating games, yeah. I mean, kind of actually. Honestly, kind of.
Yeah.
It's a lot more difficult nowadays. They make you, and you sacrifice a lot more to do it, which wasn't the case before. The other thing is emulation kind of stopped. Like I remember in like 2001, you could emulate everything from like 4 years ago, like 4 years back. Like I had an original Xbox that I could play everything up until like, I don't know, mid 90s at that point and stuff like that. Like you can't really properly emulate. I mean, I guess you can, like Wii U randomly has a good, decent emulator, but other than that, there's not a whole lot of stuff within the last 15 years that you can properly emulate.
Yeah, they're still like trying to get PS3 games
even
down.
PS2 is struggles to on most emulators. Aaron, what's your?
So I don't have one, but you guys all had great ones. But when Russ said unlockable items or unlockable things, that kind of struck me a little bit because I like get that. I I've been playing my PlayStation for like years. That's been like my main console. And recently over the past like couple months, or actually couple years, I've been playing my Switch more. And it's nice to go back to, so like the PlayStation has trophies, and trophies are fun to like, do trophy hunting, try to unlock a trophy. And like, I have the platinum in Days Gone. Sorry, another Days Gone mentioned. I'd have the platinum in Days Gone too if they make it. So it's fun to hunt for those things, but then you're like, okay, so now I have these platinums. I can look at them on my app on my phone, or I can look at my profile and check them out, and that's cool. But I'm not really like enhancing like the gameplay at all. Like you do certain things to get trophies that will make you do things that you might not have done, that might change the way the game is a little bit. But like Breath of the Wild, like finding the different armor, that is fun to me now. Like,
yeah,
I like stuff like that, like Super Mario Odyssey, finding like the different outfits, finding all the coins so you can get different outfits and different unlockable things like that. That's fun, and it kind of made me remember, like, oh yeah, like when you do things in games and unlock things, that's what makes it fun and rewarding. So kind of, I'm going to say that Russ had a really good point, and it immediately made me think, of why I like the Switch lately.
So I'm gonna pile on to that because one of my mechanics is most people want like harder games and everything. I miss really really easy games like all the Kirby games. How you just feel like a superhuman being and everything. I feel like that was like, especially with how like Super Smash Brothers. I know it was Sakurai. Like he always makes like Kirby the center, the focus of like of those games. I've realized, and I think the whole thing is like he's supposed to be this like superhuman, like not human, but super powerful being that has all these powers and everything. And like you just feel kind of invincible. There's not a whole lot of games like that you start out and you're like you can do everything. You can like have every power in the whole game immediately type of thing. Like, and it's just like it gives you like, I feel like there's these really sharp like difficulty curves where people try to make everything really more and more difficult, which I don't know. I get frustrated and I'm like, I don't want to play something that's really, really hard. And I feel like I'm a weakling among all these super powerful robots and everything, like, or whatever. Like I miss really like games where you feel like you can just destroy everything. I know there's the benefit of having that ramp up and like the payoff of fighting through all the hardships to be able to do that at the very end. I'm like, I like doing that at the beginning, and then I can just I can coast the rest of the game. My other thing, and this was one that kind of popped into my head, I miss cheat codes. I miss having, being able to unlock everything right off the bat. And I know it doesn't really work in today's ecosystem and all that. But the first, probably not the first website, one of the first websites I ever built was a cheat code database for I think it was like SNES, Genesis, and PS1 games. It was around the mid 90s. And I was obsessed with finding the games that had the best cheat codes. I got the NBA Jam arcade one up, and unfortunately, all the codes don't work on that. But having, especially if they unlock fun, like little Easter eggs and stuff like that, and be able to just change the game entirely, that doesn't exist anymore. And that was always something that I really enjoyed with gaming. Let's see how much we can mess this up. Even playing football games and turning off all penalties, and so you can just line up on the other side of the line of scrimmage and just see how much you can screw up the whole game, type of thing, stuff like that. That was some of the stuff that I would spend hours on, just seeing how backwards you could mess with the game. And so I missed that whole thing. And then
I agree with that one.
Yeah. And then I threw in, I haven't played a whole lot recently, but there used to be a lot of cover shooter games, and I realized after I looked up that there are still a lot of cover shooter games, kind of like Win Back for the N64 and the original Gears of War. I know that still is the same thing, but so I'm not gonna talk about that. But it was a little bit different back in the day. It was a little more tactical and more central to the entire gameplay mechanic. And so, but it seems like there's actually a lot of games that still use some sort of cover fire mechanic that I didn't realize. We don't have a quote of the week. I was looking, but I saw someone.
I got a quote of the week.
What?
I got a quote of the week for you. Sony, you cowards. Days Gone 2. Now, there you go.
Next week will be the official Days Gone 2 promotional podcast. I'll just send it to all the Sony@Sony.com email addresses. I've never played Days Gone 1. Am I kicked out of my podcast?
You haven't played?
I've never played. I have it. Actually, I have it physical. I have it physical and digital.
It's like everyone else. They didn't play Days Gone.
This guy calls himself a gamer.
Peace is done.
I don't have a PS4, so it was kind of hard for me to justify buying Days Gone.
But you have PlayStation Plus?
Well, now I do.
Yeah, you own it for free now.
Yeah, I have.
Play it right now.
I do have it, and I actually got it physical too. But
next Thursday, we better see games that we played. I played Days Gone.
I've heard everyone loves it. Book club, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We have some ideas for future episodes, and I'm gonna put it out there. Maybe not today, but yeah, we need to figure out this book club, game club, whatever. That doesn't sound as good, but we'll do it.
Game club pass.
Game club pass. All right. Here, I'm going to do just shout outs for you guys. Thank you for being here tonight. Next week, I think we're going to have maybe 8 or 9 people on here. Everyone's I'm going to be there next week. We'll see. We're doing a couple different formats to see how it goes. Aaron at Beach Pizza Gaming, you do Nintendo Switch gameplay videos on YouTube. You're on Instagram. Be sure to check out Aaron's YouTube channel. Any final thoughts for tonight?
No. To anyone who checked out this little stream and this podcast, thank you.
Yeah,
that's it.
Russ at Krausniesel, you're streaming on Twitch. You're doing Resident Evil 4 right now. You're also on Twitter and Instagram. How far are you in Resident Evil 4? I watched you last night, but I didn't. I had no idea where you were.
I'm like 6 or 7 hours in.
Oh,
I have
nice.
absolutely no idea how far that is.
Nice. Be sure to follow Russ on Twitch. You've been streaming a lot more lately. Every time, drop it in the Discord. So I know I random. The only time I hop on is when I happen to see it on my like little Discord Twitch widget, which I never look at. Luke at Luke Leeson, you're on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram. You're doing essays. Oh, I've lost it. Essays on video games and movies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I watched your All Dogs Go to Heaven analysis. That was a great video. What's
fun making that.
What's next on the docket?
Probably either Cyberpunk or Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, nice. Are you still streaming at all? I know I watched a couple of your streams a few months ago.
Not right now, since I'm trying not to do too much.
Sure.
To overwhelm myself.
Yeah, definitely. Be sure to follow Luke's YouTube. Follow him on Twitter. Max at Minato Max. You do a lot of Nintendo Switch news analysis on YouTube. You're also on Twitter. You have a video you said you might be dropping tomorrow.
Yes, I have my Monster Hunter review coming out tomorrow at 12. Appreciate it if you guys could watch that, because I should have had that video out like 2 weeks ago. So I think the Monster Hunter Rise topic might be a little dead. So I'm hoping it doesn't perform bad. Not to mention, I have a 3-minute skit in the beginning, so people might click off when they see it. So I don't know. I appreciate if you guys check it out, though.
So watch at least 3 minutes and 1 second of Max's video tomorrow. Yeah. I'm just kidding. We do this every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. GMT. It's on my YouTube. It's also available on wherever you might be listening to this right now, all podcast services. Come hang out with us live. Thank you to the chat we had an active chat tonight. Sorry I didn't respond to everything.
Shout out to Trent.
Yeah.
The chat active,
yeah, shout outs to Trent, Meander, Toaster Dog. That's all I see on my current view right now. But with that, we are signing off. We will see you next Thursday, 9 p.m. Thank you guys. Adios.
See ya.